Fine watches.
Good evening, I'm Glenda Chung and you're watching Primetime News on Channel News Asia. In the headlines, China sends in the army to help millions of people stranded by snowstorms that have caused transport gridlock, crippled power supplies and hindered relief efforts. Thailand's top generals throw their support behind the country's new pro-toxin government. Singapore announces more changes to its transport policy, including measures to slow growth in the car population and charging motorists more for road usage. And in the U.S., Senator John McCain emerges as a Republican frontrunner after winning the Florida primary in the race to the White House. China has sent at least 460,000 troops to help millions stranded by snowstorms. They are fanning across southern China, where dozens of people have already died in the country's worst storms in 50 years. Over 1 million police officers have also been deployed to help direct traffic in congested
last few affected areas, while power has been restored to 162 counties. Meanwhile, China's capital Beijing welcomed the Lunar New Year in a traditional grand and noisy style. Fireworks lit up the sky above Beijing. The celebrations will continue for the next 10 days. In the U.S., Republican Senator John McCain is the clear frontrunner after a string of key victories in Super Tuesday's presidential primaries. He has clinched 2/3 of the number needed to secure his party's nomination. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton leads Barack Obama. The two are still locked in a tight race, despite Mrs. Clinton winning the big prizes of California and New York on Super Tuesday. And you're watching Channel News Asia. And now, time now for a Singapore update. The Year of the Rat got off to a loud start in Chinatown at the stroke of midnight. Firecrackers heralded the arrival of the Lunar New Year, crackling away for 60 seconds. The Chinese believe that the deafening noise chases away evil spirits. 100 confetti cannons also exploded along Yutong Seng Street and New Bridge Road. Thousands packed Chinatown to catch Mediacorp artists and to watch the event, which was broadcast live on Channel 8. After the noise of the firecrackers, all eyes were turned to the sky for a crowd favorite, fireworks. The chikungunya virus has hit another person in Singapore, bringing to 13 now the total number of cases so far. The Health Ministry says the latest case detected is a female Singaporean with no recent travel history. She lives at Mackenzie Road, some 400 meters away from Clive Street in Little India. All of the chikungunya cases have originated from the Little India area. The latest news comes even as intensive search and destroy operations are conducted in the Clive Street area to remove mosquito breeding habitats. So far, 2,626 people have been screened for the disease. More than 4,800 inspections have been conducted. Officers have detected and destroyed 77 breeding sites. 7 players from former S-League club Liaoning Guangyuan have been charged with alleged match fixing. The players have already been suspended from all forms of football activities in Singapore. If they are found guilty, they will permanently be banned. And the Football Association of Singapore will recommend that the Asian Football Confederation and FIFA extend their life bans worldwide. Last month, a warrant of arrest was issued against the team manager after he failed to show up for a court hearing. Wang Xin, who's out on bail, is the first S-League club manager to be charged with match fixing. And for more news updates, you can always go to our website, channelnewsasia.com. Thanks for watching.
Talk to me. Talk to me. If you feel the need or when you need to feel it, talk to me. talk to me.
Hello everyone and happy Lunar New Year from all of us here. I'm Timothy Go and welcome to another exciting episode of That's IT. And there was a time when people would come to a store like this, pick up one of these, and maybe some of these, scribble something down at their desk by the windowsill, close it and lock it in their drawer until their next entry. Well, that was so last century. These days you message someone asking them how they're doing on their phone and you get a reply that says, read my blog. But after the blogging phenomenon of 5 years ago, are people still really into online blogging or have they gone back to their private journals?
Rant and rave. Sell some wares. Share an interest. Put up a video or some pictures. Be a poet or a wordsmith. Air your opinions. Make people sit up and think hard. Be a blogger.
So I've been blogging, I guess, since 2003. I think before that I had my own website, so would update that manually instead of like the blogging tools that we have today. But I've blogged about a variety of topics over the years. I've had like up to 5 different blogs at once. But the first main blog I had was when I first moved to Singapore, because I'm from the US and I wanted all my friends back there to be able to just know what I was up to. So that was like a personal blog, just saying, oh, you know, I did this in Singapore today, and, you know, listing differences between Singapore and back home. Then for work, I created a blogging community that was focused on student developers. Then I went on a TV show, that show called Eye for a Guy. And as part of that, I think Channel 5 wanted us to come up with blogs that would let people get to know us as people more while the show was on. And we had that hosted on Moblog, which is a Singapore-created blogging site. Now I pretty much have a personal blog, which I put all kinds of random things on. I mean, more, again, the observations, general daily life, but also interesting tech news that I find, because I am really quite interested in the tech stuff.
The power of media is being, given to the masses. So it's supposed to be ideally more objective than being paid to write about something. But at the same time, because with the proliferation of blogs, it's very hard to control who's saying the truth and what, especially when a lot of blogs now are actually being planned for, or it's part of a strategy to boost someone's image and all that. But I do think that the blog community is a self-policing one. So people know when there's something amiss.
But writing blogs is not all fun and games. To be a serious blogger, and mind you, there is such a thing, it takes a lot of time and effort. Not to mention courage, too, since you're opening yourself up to possible criticism. You'd never know who's out there reading your blog.
With criticism comes improvement, or at least change, sometimes for the better or for the worse. The thing is, if there's no discussion, if there's no engagement, then I'll be stagnant. I'll be forever locked in my own small world of thought. But by engaging people, we tend to know what perspective they're coming from, and we get to learn a lot of life lessons, like when we should be politically correct, when we should be more diplomatic, when we should push envelope and when we shouldn't. These are things that schools can't teach you.
I think one satisfaction is knowing that I can connect with people all over the world. When I have readers from like UK or Canada, like leaving comments saying, oh, like I enjoy reading your blog and all that. And I think it's good because it just opens up a lot of cultural windows. Us reading their blogs, learning about other people's way of lives, and they looking back at ours as well.
There are a lot of interesting IT stories making headlines this week, so I'm not going to delay any further. Here are the week's top IT news.
A careful examination. That's what Google is urging the U.S. Judiciary Committee's Antitrust and Competitive Policy Task Force to do in the matter involving Microsoft's hostile bid to take over Yahoo. News broke last week that Microsoft offered to buy Yahoo for $66.4 billion. Of course, Google has to be worried since a Microsoft-Yahoo tie-up would mean Microsoft could reposition itself amid a changing tech landscape. Well, a source familiar with Yahoo's strategy said Yahoo management is considering revisiting talks it held with Google just several months ago on an alliance as an alternative to Microsoft's bid. Well, Yahoo believes Microsoft's bid undervalues the company. Among its announcements at the recent Macworld Expo, the annual 4-day trade show in San Francisco, the best was the launch of its 1.3 kilogram laptop, rightly termed MacBook Air, since it's probably light as air compared to its competitors. The stunningly beautiful aluminum slab at 1.8 centimeters thick is, according to Apple, the world's thinnest laptop. For its full-size screen, full-size keyboard, and 5-hour battery all captured within 3/4 of an inch, some hail it as a slice of heaven, albeit a razor-thin slice. Others bemoan the small drive capacity, limited connectors, and where's the DVD drive?
I'll have more on the MacBook Air a little bit later on. Also coming up next, be careful what you blog about. I'll explain if you don't touch your remote control.
My name is Hafida Famiasari. I live in Yogyakarta. I just know Cambodia is in the map. I never heard about culture, about anything.
But that's going to change when Hafida meets Kavik Neng of Cambodia.
I want her to respect our Cambodian to promote my culture.
Together they embark on a journey of cultural and musical discovery in Cambodia. Discover the true spirit of ASEAN on Fusion.
In the new season of American Idol, where life isn't always PG.
I've been living in my car for a year now. It's scary and it's lonely, you know, you don't have anybody.
But between the drama queens,
This is a joke, right?
And the prom queens,
I hope I do American Idol, but I just said do American Idol.
there's lots of attitude.
I just want to punch you.
It's a yes. Where's the ticket?
In there.
American Idol. Catch the same-day telecast tonight at 10 on 5.
This Sunday, the year of the rat is upon us. So what should you be doing to sniff out good investment opportunities?
Stock selection is the key. Going forward, it's really selecting right business and not just momentum investing.
And can the Chinese consumer help cushion Asia against a slowdown in the US economy? Money Mind, Sunday, 9:30 p.m.
Money Mind is brought to you by the new Impreza and co-sponsored by Konica Minolta Biz Hub.
Welcome back to That's IT. Now let's get serious for a moment here. Do you know that you can be legally liable for the things you blog about? You may think you're just a nobody blogging about something you don't like in school or at work, but someone out there reading your blog may get offended and they can launch a legal suit against you. So here are some things to know to keep you out of trouble while you blog. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Many of us see our blogs as a kind of personal journal. From an expressive point of view, of course. We write because we want to talk about our lives. But we sometimes get carried away, complaining about this, that, and the other person. And then we forget that what we blog is actually posted on the World Wide Web.
But the problem is in how it's disseminated, how it's presented to others. It's electronic communication, and it's on the World Wide Web, and so other people can access it. So from another perspective, the other side of it, it's very different. It's not like a journal or a diary, and it's not afforded the same protection. So people need to realize that even though an online diary, a blog, feels like an offline diary, it doesn't have the same kinds of protections.
But if we were to express a personal point of view in our blogs, surely that's harmless enough, right? It's not as though we're writing a letter to the press or producing a TV program for everyone to see.
Yeah, the laws concerning internet blogging in particular around defamation and libel are exactly the same as where they are elsewhere. The law doesn't regard electronic communication differently from print communication or broadcast communication. It's all treated the same and it's subject to the same laws. People are responsible for what they write, and they can be sued for things that they say that cause harm to reputations.
Well, they say to be forewarned is to be forearmed. So get in touch with what the defamation and libel laws are where you live. And just in case you thought that blogs secured with a password are safe, think again. Remember, it's electronic communication we're talking about here, and the things you post on your blogs can sometimes take a life of their own, and you'll be responsible for them.
It's time to come face to face with our profile of the week.
Be connected. It is the new mantra and the order of the day. And wireless technology like routers and networking products are the means by which this is realized. Now imagine being one of the key driving forces behind this technology. Well, that's Peter Lim for you, Vice President of D-Link Southeast Asia.
The latest product I bought was the video camera. It's from Canon. I personally feel it's the best thing that happened in my life.
Is this an HD video camcorder?
Oh, yes, it is. Just used it on my trip to the US with my family, and we thoroughly enjoyed the moment and captured it all on video.
And put it on DVD and watch it with the rest
of
the family?
On the Macintosh. On the Macintosh.
All right. Anything you bought perhaps in the past that you regretted buying or that you're not using anymore?
Okay. To be very, very candid, I think you guys are going to laugh at it. I actually bought a PS2 quite a while ago. The whole intention was to unwind. But I found out, interestingly enough, I've got too many hobbies, hobbies like fishing, like golf, and these are just taking up too much of my time, and I haven't got the chance to play with the PS2. But saying that, my kids are enjoying it.
So do you have to, mentally set a time like, okay, I'm going to set 2 hours of my night this week to play with my PS2 because I've already bought it?
I try to, sad to say, the work is taking up too much of my time. Sad to say that. I really have to put some time to really enjoy myself and relax. Hopefully that can be done 6 months down the road.
When you travel, apart from your new camcorder that you just bought, what else do you bring with you?
Okay, most importantly would be the mobile phone. I've got a Jopod, which basically allows me to plan my stuff. It's a PDA together with mobile built-in. So that actually helps me tie up a lot of things. At the same time, when there's a hotspot available, I can actually surf the web and keep in touch with the surroundings, and at the same time work a little bit because we can access the mail through the web.
Name me one D-Link product that you're most proud of at this very moment.
Okay, if you look behind you,
right,
that would be our 655. That's our top breed of the draft end routers. It's won numerous awards. I would say it's the champion of the draft end at the current moment. And we're selling quite a lot of these products.
Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you very much.
Coming up, we'll gate crash Blog TV's party and find out why the heck is a show called Blog TV. Also coming up, find out who earned the distinction of That's IT's Gadget of the Week. We'll be right back.
Saturday on Japan Hour. Japan Hour, Saturday at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. Japan Hour is brought to you by Sumitomo Corporation, All Nippon Airways, Calbee, Daikin, Fanco, NEC, Nikkei, Pilot Pin, and UOB Travel Planners.
Since we started our Gadget of the Week segment, companies have been clamoring to have their wares displayed on the show. But of course, only the best of the best gets in, and that is decided by the That's IT team. So here are this week's top picks.
Looking to zip around town this Lunar New Year? Well, look no further than the HP iPac 312 Travel Companion. It comes third place this week. It is a GPS device that sports an easy-to-navigate interface, a high-speed processor, Bluetooth connectivity, and a 4.3-inch touchscreen. In addition to guiding you around town, you can play music, videos, and DVD-quality videos on it. Great for taking to road trip with the kids. 3D mapping is available overseas. Don't take it lightly when we tell you that Apple products have purposeful designs. Not when they introduce a MacBook that's this light. Crowned the thinnest laptop in the market, Apple's latest MacBook offering, the MacBook Air, has been hailed by some as the simplest, most beautiful laptop yet. Beautiful it is, but perfect it isn't. Being slim comes with sacrifices, as some ladies out there will tell you. And top of the list is the lack of a user-replaceable battery. With some, this might be a small issue, but for others who are on the road for long periods of time without access to a power outlet, it's a deal breaker. Now, this slim young thing is also friendly. She warms up to you whenever you switch her on and put her on your lap, so it's number 2. Finally, the top gadget of the week goes to D-Link Securicam. Imagine being able to know when an intruder comes into your house or when your part-time maid clocks in and out. With its built-in motion sensor that sends messages to your email, you can feel secure about your home. What's more, this little fella is standing proof that small stuff can pack lots of punch. Among its honors, it connects up to 16 other cameras, provides smooth wireless performance, and boasts motorized panning and tilting. Not to mention, it looks menacing enough to scare off crooks. Perhaps. Certainly, it's no match for a dedicated security system, but it's also nowhere as expensive. Security on a shoestring.
Those of you who remember would know that Melrose Place was a spin-off of Beverly Hills 90210. Or from Cheers came Frasier. And Dallas gave birth to Knots Landing. Of course, you know where I'm getting at. Some TV series came from other successful TV shows, just like some good movies continued with bad sequels. But a TV show coming from a blog? Come to think of it, whose blog?
I think it takes time because let's put it this way.
Young people's blog, that is. How do we get the pulse of what young people these days are thinking and feeling? Well, read their blogs.
Blogs are all about expression, and it does give you an idea of what young people are feeling these days, and a lot of young people blog more than more mature adults like we are. And television is also about expression, and what is TV without a point of view? So Blog TV represents the point of view of younger people in Singapore today, editorialized, contextualized, so that each episode is about one specific issue.
The technologies that we use on the show are Skype for video calls via the internet and also 3G calls, so via a mobile phone. And basically what we want to do with the video calls like Skype is kind of extend the opinions to get people from outside of Singapore to chime in on the topics that we have. So we've called people in UK and we've called people in Laos using Skype. I think what's good about it is, you know, it's a very cost-efficient way because it's basically free. You're using the internet to get the video from them as well as talk to them in real time.
Well, you'd say go out and talk to people then if you want to feel their vibe and read their minds. Or pick up a newspaper and read the forum pages, or get a book or a magazine for that matter. Why brood alone in front of your computer and read blogs?
Because books and magazines are not written by the average person on the streets. Forum letters tend to be written by the same number of people who have carved out a living some way, you know, of just writing letters into the papers. And it also represents a very specific point of view of what can be published. If you want a more honest view of what people are thinking, uncensored, it comes from the blogs.
People may be, if they're having trouble offline, if they're shy or they feel uncomfortable with their stutter or they have acne, they may be very happy that they don't have a picture up on their blog and that people see them. The belief may be that they're actually seeing the truer self because it's the way that they correspond, it's what they write about, it's not the surface characteristics, how they look.
Some people say, as bees to honey, so youngsters to blogs. Crude generalization, I know, but not without a grain of truth. So what's the hype all about?
If I were to be cynical, I would say these days, because it's so accessible to get yourself published online, everyone thinks they're a writer. Everyone, and they don't bother to learn how to form, to structure their work a little better and be a bit more polished about it. But that's the cynical side of me. The positive side says they're attracted to blogging because it is a form of expression. And it is a form of expression that is not dictated by a particular set of rules. It's not an essay for your GP, it's not something you'd be graded on, and it's not something you get into trouble for either, because there's a lot of, it's a high anonymous factor. So you express yourself without fear of consequence.
In glee, we shout, free speech. Good news for free speech. All hail blogs for that. But do blogs really herald nothing but good news?
At each other on the train, and it's these things we stop doing.
I worry that as blogging gets more popular, as more people are connected to the internet, as more people have, more high-tech equipment, content will suffer. I think it was back in the days where it was harder to get yourself heard, you had to think before you speak, because you don't waste that opportunity. These days, you type before you process. So I worry about the future of blogging. I do see it as becoming more of a vanity project than anything, to take flattering pictures of yourself from a certain angle. So I worry about it. I worry. I do hope that people will use the medium truly as a form of expression and not as another way to show off.
Now, there is one popular blogger in the Philippines who managed to attract enough attention to his blog because of what he did and what he's trying to achieve. David Porch, a Filipino-American who, despite his good life back in the U.S., moved back to his parents' homeland to look for the meaning of life, or so he says. He blogged about his trials, challenges, and reasons for doing what he does, but it seems the life he chose to live was destined for bigger things. His blog entries inspired a network in Manila to tell his unusual story on TV.
Hi, I'm David Porch, and I'm from Houston, Texas. I've lived in the States for 13 years. I attended an Ivy League college.
Of course, his detractors say David is nothing but an attention seeker, but most popular bloggers will get that from those who are not as popular. So here's a good time to remind you that if you don't have anything good to say about anyone, better keep it to yourself, or at least sugarcoat it so you don't get sued.
Well, I hope you learned a thing or two.